Hello and welcome to the DPC China region powered by Perfect World. My name is Nomad and joining me on the panel today to get through the singular series is Lizard and Black. You guys are going to help me break down this just singular game we got going on this morning, and this one is going to be LGD versus LBZS. But before we get into that, I want to hear your guys' opinion on the region as a whole after having a chance to have a look at all the different regions. What are you now thinking about the China region?
Are they changing their letters all the time? Because behind us there's LZBS, they're called LBSZ one day, then they're LBZS.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's maybe it's like a running joke with the guys where they're just constantly changing their name and catching us off guard. Who knows?
Can you do that?
No.
Because it becomes difficult to track you. You just become Arkosh of the China region.
Yeah, well, you know, Arkosh are changing players every other day. Don't see why LBZS.
Yeah, just change one letter.
Anyway, Black, how did China match up against the other regions you've been watching in the DPC recently?
I mean, so far from what we've seen, the quote-unquote stronger top teams have been performing as we expected them to. They've been doing very well.
Yep.
Whereas the qualifier teams were the weaker teams. They've been, you know, also performing to as I think to the standard that we thought they would, right?
Yep.
Whereas in SEA, it seems like the playing field is much closer. So the favorites in China are, at least how it looks like right now, more than likely going to pull through. Whereas in SEA, it's more, you know, you can't really predict it at all. Like Fnatic did well, but T1 didn't do well at all.
True.
And then
Boom
496
as
came
well,
through. Yeah, it's like
Boom did poorly, but
Yeah.
I for once in my life, I completely agree with what Black said. Like, China region, it does look very stable, or more stable than SEA. But is that really surprising? Like, that's usually how it goes. Like, those players are way more individually skilled. I'm just talking overall, but stability is lacking. Well, it's here. Like you have teams that are very stable, that are practicing, have coaches, organizations, like big commitments.
I think we're seeing the trickle down of that as well, because, you know, talking about the tier 1 leagues, you know, the upper divisions, and there's a lot of comparisons to be made amongst all the regions pretty much. But when it comes to Division 2, there is no comparison to be made, in my opinion, between China and any other region. I think China has far and away the strongest lower division, and we're seeing that. You know, those games, they look good. Of course, you can check those out on the Second Perfect World channel, and that's being casted by Kips, D-Drop, Neff, Party PT, and Cryptic. Those guys are doing a great job over there, so make sure you follow that channel as well if you want to catch any of that lower division action. And just today, in fact, we had CDEC getting a 2-0 over Dragon, which means they've had 2 wins under their belt now, so CDEC looking very good. We've got RNG down there, which is a big surprise, but RNG are hanging out down there, and they've already lost a game against Sparkling Arrow Gaming, so even this team, which we expected to be in the upper division, are losing games in the lower division.
Yeah, you just look at those names, crazy. Right? You just look at those names, those teams, and you're like, okay, is this lower division? What's happening here? There's a lot of gaming involved there. It's
a lot of gaming.
There's only
gamers.
Dragon and Dynasty that doesn't have some sort of continuation to their name, like gaming. Or
so they have no chance,
sports,
right? Because they're not gamers.
Yeah. They I don't know how they're gonna do it, really.
Yeah. If you're not a gamer, you can't game with the gamers.
Wise words. If you're not a gamer, you can't game. Alrighty, guys, let's get into the series of the day, of course. So it's PSG.LGD versus LBSZ. These two guys going to be battling it out for those all-important league points. Now, we saw LBSZ earlier on in the region. They didn't too hot, unfortunately. Meanwhile, this is PSG.LGD's first showing. I want to focus on LGD a little bit because obviously they're the biggest name in the region. Maybe not the strongest team in the region right now. That award probably goes to Elephant.
Yep.
But can you guys tell me a little bit about how the current PSG.LGD looks?
Well, it's definitely one of the top 3, top 4 teams in the China region, even with the recent changes. Like they did switch up a couple of their players. They had the old trio from, actually 4 players from eHome, right? 2 of them are listed on alone on Wikipedia. I'm not sure if they're complete players, if they're signed in the organization or just still on loan. But they have some interesting picks, interesting drafts. Xinq Techies. They still did lose versus Elephant. It was 1-3, I think, in the finals. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have done since the Dota pit. Have they improved? Have they found some new strategies? And how have they adapted to the patch?
Yeah, but of course, looking at this matchup as we have the draft now live, with very much expecting a clean 2-0 from PSG.LGD. I don't think anybody could argue otherwise. LBZS, they've shown moments of brilliance, but not enough to really challenge the upper echelons. You know, LGD, obviously, it's just such a big team, such a well-funded team, and such like a good group of players. It just doesn't seem like there's much chance here for LBZS. Are there anything you think which could, what circumstances could lead to an LBZS victory here? Maybe it be draft or play style. What do you think could happen?
Yeah, I think it will have to be, as you said, either draft or play style that completely catches LGD off guard. Because, like, if you're LGD or if you're any team that wants to be in the top 4, you know, like, it hurts to say, but LBZS is not a team that you can afford to lose to. You know, like, there's a lot of other very strong on paper teams that are waiting for you. So you have to get a clean 2-0 here, you know. It's also a good confidence boost for this still quite fresh lineup. And yeah, we'll have to see how much work they got done, you know.
Alrighty, let's get into the draft of the first game in this best-of-3 match. And we've already got some openings coming out. So we've got the Earth Spirit and the Oracle picked up by LBZS. And we have the Keeper of the Light and the Ember Spirit picked up by PSG.LGD. So, guys, which of these openings are we kind of favoring here, would you say?
Yeah, so if you look at these openings and talking about PSG.LGD, they're a grand organization and kind of fairly new when it comes to the stack of players. Like Akjit as well was removed, right, for Ami and whatnot, but can you afford not to ban LBZS most played heroes like Earth Spirit or Tusk? You know, these are the heroes that Katyu has played in almost every single game for them, and these are the heroes that he shines on. I really think that the position 4 should be allowed to have full comfort zone in his game. If you allow that, then your early through mid-game transition is much easier because he has a lot of impact. If you don't, then it can be a little bit more difficult. But man, they open up with Kotal Ember. I think Black will agree. Kotal Ember,
one of the strongest dual lanes in Dota.
Oh my god.
You could, you know, this is usually a safe lane, but it can easily go offlane together as well.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like offlane Ember is actually not weak at all. You just go Vessel into utility items, and this combination can actually pressure pretty much every carry out of the lane. Like there's just permanent Sleight of Fist spam with Illuminate as well. And
you don't even have to go Flame
chains.
Guard. You're playing into Oracle. You can just go Searing Chains and Sleight of Fist and just own that lane. Yeah.
Yep. Lots of potential there. They go Juggernaut. Of course, one of the best heroes against what we just said, which is the permanent Harris. You just put down a healing ward, and you don't really care all that much about Harris. You have a double heal lane as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's weird. I'm not a big fan at all of Ember safe lane. I feel like it's not a good patch for it. Unless you have
Ember
like a
or
Medusa
Jug?
middle.
What do you mean? Ember?
Ember safe lane, yeah. I feel Ember safe lane is very cute. Maybe you win your lane, you know, but if you die once or twice, the enemy carry will just pull ahead, and then you're just not a hard carry, you know. Unless you have like a Medusa or Arc Warden or something similar in the mid lane, I'm not a big fan of the Ember safe lane.
Yep.
But at the same time, the Ember Coddle offlane is somewhat countered already by Juggernaut Oracle.
Yep.
So it's.
I'm a big fan of Kotal though. Like no matter what, I'm a big fan of this hero. This hero last night literally made me late to a Nomad's birthday pizza party.
Yeah.
A game that should have ended 30 minutes with the enemy's win goes for 80 because of the Kotal defense and whatnot. So overall, the hero is in a really good spot and allows Ember to really shine with those double Sleight of Fist later on in the game. Plus with Mars, it's a decent lane.
Yep, for sure, for sure. But picking Mars into Juggernaut seems a little bit odd to me. You've already got this carry hero which can just spin his way out of every problem he's got. I believe Omni Slash attacks from the front and sides, alternating between the left side, the right side, and the middle, the front of the hero. So Bulwark's kind of weird into that one. But either way, I mean, I don't know. Is this an okay thing to do, picking Mars into Jug?
I mean, the lane is not terrible. Your W still pressures him a lot in the lane, and you have a good attack range, good attack damage. And you never want to Omni Slash a Mars. Like, you actually can't kill him.
Yeah.
Like, I've had this 6-slotted Juggernaut Omni Slash me. I had like 3 items, and I wasn't even half HP. It's because just of that Bulwark reduction.
Bulwark, yeah.
Yeah. But of course, like if you're talking team fights, right now Juggernaut has a super free game, and they will have to address him later in the draft. But yeah, it's probably just going to be an Ember middle, right? Ember middle.
That's the way it looks
Coddle
like,
Mars offlane.
They're very flexible, like you said. December pick. If it was picked a little bit later, then I would be for sure, okay, this is Ember mid. But when you pick it this early on, you might be hiding something with it.
Could
right?
be a +4.
Yeah.
We've seen it a lot.
We've seen that too, yeah. Usually, if you play 4 Ember, it's with ranged right clickers on the offlane, like your Wind Ranger, Puck, Nature's Prophet, because that way you can buy Blightstone on Ember, Sleight of Fist everyone, and then that ranged guy actually comes in and helps a lot. But okay, Sand King. LBZS, they have a pretty decent team fight so far.
Ooh,
Yeah, this is good.
that's gonna be a big problem. They have like only one good thing to deal with them right now, which is a surprise silence from the Earth Spirit. But there's almost no chance they can kill this hero right now, outside of like number 1.
It's just so good for multiple reasons. It's not only that the silence is only there from Earth Spirit. You have Sand King, you have Earth Spirit that you can turn into. You have Jug as well with the Healing Word, and the Spin obviously. All these 3 heroes are excellent morph targets to morph into. Plus, you're preventing LBZS from maybe going for that mid lane morphling that crushes Ember Spirit completely. So, yeah, I like this pick.
I like this pick too. I think this is looking like an extremely strong Morphling game. So it's looking like the Ember's probably going to be mid, or will they run the Morphling in the middle lane? With
It depends on the
nothing to
matchup. But I think right now it's probably going to be an Ember middle because Morphling safe lane against Earth Spirit Sand King is absolutely fine.
Right,
Like,
much
you
easier than Ember.
Like
right?
you don't care at all, honestly. Yeah, and then once you're level 3, it's like almost impossible to die in that lane already, and your support can just pretty much do whatever. Just push, pull, like a Coddle usually does.
Do you guys know what LBZS means, by the way?
You
No
told
idea.
me that you will tell us. You
Yeah.
actually told me I will share these nuggets of gold with you on air.
I did
Quote,
say that.
Unquote.
Absolutely did say that. So now you're ready for the Nomad's Nugget. It means, it actually stands for Laiba Zanshi, and that means come, show yourself. Which, it could be, 2 enemies meeting in the ring saying, come, show yourself. Or maybe it's an alternative way after a date to say, come in and have coffee. I don't really know. Open to interpretation.
Yeah, that sounds more like some kind of comedy show, where there's like this really skinny guy is like challenging this massive wrestler.
Yeah,
come bro, come here.
And look at their icon as well, their logo. This
happy little sun.
this friendly, shiny little poor innocent son.
It's a big juxtaposition between that cute little sun and then the name, come, show yourself. Yeah. But there we go. The final 2 heroes being picked up is going to be a Tusk for PSG.LGD, and we have a Leshrac for LBZS. Does this Leshrac maybe help you think that possibly they have a chance?
I mean, I feel Ember lands very well into Leshrac anyway, and Morph is one of the best heroes against Leshrac. Once you have that E-Blade, you actually just blow him up from full health.
Why did they get it?
Not sure.
Do you think that Eternal Shroud or some build like that is viable versus these heroes? Like,
I mean,
it's weird.
Usually the item build just travels into Yules, right?
Yeah.
But if you go there, the Morph is probably going to have an E-Blade, and you're just going to get blown.
You'll die.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Why
They do
pick
have
Lesh.
Oracle. They do have Oracle to
They
save
do.
him.
And Lesh, of course, if, for some reason he kills this Ember once or twice, he can snowball super hard, get all the towers fast, and control the map for them.
Well, let's bring in our casters and have a little conversation about these heroes. Guys, do LBZS stand a chance? Or either of you going to be brave enough to predict them to win this first game?
I don't know why panel is, not believing in LBZS lineup, because it looks really good. It looks solid. I mean, they have tower damage. I think the laning phase will be okay. Not sure what they're on. Did you guys get good 8 hours of sleep tonight?
You didn't, I know that.
I did, but you too.
Yeah,
apparently
some guys playing
we
pubs.
were playing pubs until midnight.
So, I don't know. Predictions, guys, very quickly then. LGD Lizard?
Yeah, I think Lacoste and Black should lay off the unranked. It's messing with their brains. I'll go with PSG.LGD. This draft looks better for me.
Black?
Hey, I said LGD too. Why you put my name in there as well?
Because you're influencing him. You're playing with
I'm
him.
influencing him.
You're the bad influence.
Well, then he should choose LGD as well, because I did.
I will. Don't worry.
Okay, good job.
I just don't feel it's going to be that one-sided.
I'm going to go with LGD. Yeah, no, I'm not crazy enough. Come on, Big Cop. Balance the scales. Be the voice of... unreason, I guess.
I can't balance the
Can't do
scales.
it.
It's nothing to say on his best hero of Ember Spirit. I'm not trying to be LGD bias. Big LGD fan, but I'm going to have to go for LGD as well. I don't know if I can balance the scales at all.
It's it would be pretty crazy, but you know, if you are an LBZS fan out there, then you know, believe, because it is their chance to come and show themselves. Alrighty, we're gonna throw it over to our casters for this game. B-Cup and Lacoste, take it away for game number 1.
Thank you so much, Nomad. Yeah, we're getting into the first LGD game. LBZS, they looked good against Vici, and then everything kind of dropped off. I think they had troubles finishing that first game off, and that could have given them a lot of confidence.
It was one of the biggest comebacks I've seen recently.
Yeah.
Vici Gaming game 1 against LBZS. Second game, not that competitive because LBZS is not a team that has so much experience, and you kind of expect them to get into that 30-minute second game loss after what happens in game 1. It affects you mentally for sure.
Yeah, so new day, new start. We'll see if LBZS have wiped their slate clean and give it another shot. It's up against probably one of the toughest opponents in the region. Vici, at least for me, it feels like Vici, Elf, and LGD kind of just any day of the week they're swapping that top 3.
Good job, B-Cup. You just, check the list, the direct invite teams. These teams are good. Just kidding. I know you know the scene much better than anyone else here. But, yeah, let's see what happens in this one. So we have Y playing that Keeper of the Light, position 5. Not a single Mango, just 2 Fairy Fires at the moment. So definitely expecting Chakra Magic, just checking what he wants to get first. Is it the new ability, or he wants to get the Illuminate? Ame getting zoned out by Earth Spirit.
Yeah, Catyu already throwing some shots in. Fortune's End thrown on to Catyu to root up this Morphling. And Ame, he's taking the aggression from Catyu, and that's how Catyu plays.
He rolls in and stops the TP.
Oh, now he can't get anything out of this. Catyu might lose his life for it, but they're keeping him out of lane. Now the Fortune's End. Does this turn into First Blood? For LBZS, now they've brought over Innocence. He's charging up the Illuminate. There's the roll again, and Zhao Fu will take out the Morphling. He never steps foot near that Tier 1 tower.
So Ame has to walk back. He has 0 experience at the moment, but at least Y gets the return kill, gets level 2 from that.
Yeah, Innocence grabbing that kill on the Catyu, but that's the aggression that I think LBZS need to play with. They need to play kind of behind what Catyu's going to do and be that leader and be that initiator. And they do it right there. That I don't think I've ever seen that kind of aggression on one position that early on like that. Don't allow him to even get to lane.
It was a thing a couple of months ago, maybe 6 months ago, where you just wanted to zone out the enemy carry. I haven't seen it in a very long time. Now Morphling walks back to the bottom lane. This is going to be a tough lane for Morph, because Sanking is already level 3. Caustic Finale, he's just going to push the wave with the Sanking, and the Morphling might struggle.
Yeah, the Morphling only 1-1 to Jug's 11-11. You've already got 11 CS. MS having a great time. He had swapped lanes. He's in the off lane right now, up against Jinkyu. Zhao Fu with him. They want to go for this Tusk. They've got the shards up, but Fortune's End is there. They still might be able to kill off this Tusk. He's level 2 who try to TP out. Blade Fury with Purifying Flames, and there's the kill for Zhao Fu. Another one for him, so LBZS getting themselves a couple of kills in this top lane.
Yeah, seems like the story of this game is don't try to TP out. It's not as easy as it seems.
And this is a really good start from LBZS. Something that they need to do.
Man.
Yeah, roll, looking for nothing to say. Fortune's End. They are... We saw 496 play like this yesterday with all this aggression. It seems like a little bit of a change of style from the last time we saw LBZS.
Yeah, this is looking really good. Constant pressure starting from minute 0, and keep that pressure going. Lashrak is the hero that can snowball so easily, especially if he gets a couple of those early kills. He's getting the level advantage on the mid lane as well. So once you get that level 6 before the Ember Spirit, you can still, get him a kill easily. So now Juggernaut still free farming top 12, denies already. They're trying to swap the lanes a bit, but not sure if it's working out. Already a 1k gold lead for LBZS here.
Yeah, so what's the response to this? You're trying to swap lanes, you're trying to make something happen and find yourself a little bit of farm, but it's not going well. Now Jin-Q getting pressed on, uses that tag team on X, but there's the stun landing and another kill. So Leshrac gets it. Illuminate coming through from Innocence. They might try to turn this on Jiaofu, but pretty quick, and he'll be able to walk away from that one. Well, harassment from Faith Beyond onto MS. He's really the anchor to this, too. His lane almost always going really well. They'll throw the Fortune's End out. Now they've got the shards onto Jiaofu. Jin-Q trying to make a play, but again, Cat Yu is here. They will get the kill onto Jiaofu. They might lose Jin-Q in return. MS with another one. So they do have a response to the kill onto the Oracle.
Cat Yu is all over the place, man. These aggressive rotations from both position 4 and 5 are really making some nice work for LBZS. Sanking on the bottom lane. You know, Morphling is catching up because he also has support of Innocence here. But, yeah, I mean, solo Sanking can kill Morphling unless Morphling decides to shift the wrong way. So, especially in a 1 versus 1 scenario. But, yeah, definitely needs more time to recover.
Going after Faith Beyond again. Boulder Smash, Fortune's End, trying to rotate in to save Faith Beyond. He's got the spear, will latch him to the tower. Well done there by Faith Beyond to turn the game plan on him and get the kill on the Cat Yu. Shard's now in front of Jiaofu. He's trying to run the other way. They've got the tag team. They'll look to keep up, bring Faith Beyond and Innocence over. Jin-Q slowing him down. Jiaofu now might be food for nothing to say. With that slide, oh, now they're going with the snowball, looking for X. LGD turning the aggression on there.
6 heroes mid, 6 minutes in, makes a lot of sense. Man, I don't know if Earth Spirit noticed, but there's still tier 1 tower on the top, considering he already dived the tier 2 tower twice.
Tower does not exist in the mind of Cat Yu. MS still just practically free farming at this point. Faith Beyond trying to do what he can. He's level 5, getting close to that 6. Things have calmed down at least a little bit where Ame is able to find some farm. And then nothing to say. He's trying to stay up there as well. He's 34-9, doing the best on the side of LGD. He's getting a little bit of farm. Up ahead of the Leshrac for now. So it's all right in some areas, and they've kind of recovered on LGD.
Yeah, Ame's like, guys, please keep them busy. You know, I'm having a really good time right now. I do not want to experience what I did at the start. And the Earth Spirit, once again, close to tier 2 tower, making that move.
Yeah, the heat map on his kills right now are like the tier 1 doesn't exist. That's for sure. And that's a good rotation from the Leshrac. Comes over, gets a kill. They'll probably push this tower. They've got the damage. Diabolic Edict sitting at level 3, ready to go. The roll from Cat Yu. Try to clear up, see if anybody's in the trees. They'll use the glyph. Burrow strike onto Ame. But you've got 3 heroes top. This kill not likely. However, you are looking like you're going to lose your top tier 1 if you're LGD.
Yeah, seems like there's not going to be any kind of response, and they can't really pressure the bottom tower because there's not enough tower damage. Also, there is Sanking who's rushing for a hood, which I really like. Like, he just needs to be more tanky in this Ring of Health, providing him with enough sustain in the region. So it's very hard to just show up on the top lane against the Juggernaut, where he has Omni Slash, so you can't really pressure him. There's still not a BKB piercing ability that can stop his TP. Tusk only level 3. They're trying to make a move on a mid lane.
Yeah, the roll was at, nothing to say. He used the Remnant to back off. That left the double damage free to be bottled up by X. Faith Beyond looking ready to go. Illuminate being used, but they've got the arena down on the Cat Yu. They'll find the kill onto the Earth Spirit. Almost spoke too soon. I thought he might even roll out. But they get the kill, and they'll pressure the tier 1 mid. I don't think LBZS are very likely to just leave this tower to get harassed down and killed.
No, they have the tools to defend the tower. If something goes wrong, Juggernaut can always TP. And you can see how aggressive Juggernaut is farming, knowing there's no BKB piercing abilities. If he feels threatened, just spin TP out. Because right-click damage is not enough. He's sitting at 11 armor, so can pretty much always just DP out, unless he gets surprise speared by Mars.
Yeah, Mars the potential only problem right now. Ame continuing to do what he can to regain on some of this farm. You've got a Jug sitting top of the net worth, and you've got the Leshrac of X getting closer and closer to that Yules, have that extra bit of setup for the stun, and maybe play even more aggressive up to that point, or past that point when you've picked up that Yules. Irving having an easy time bottom too. He's not over farmed or anything. He's sticking there with the Mars. In a good spot though, hasn't really been touched. Going for the Blink Dagger next.
Oh, what is that? The Morphling going for Lincoln Sphere. Whew. Not sure why. Like, if you think about the abilities that he can block, what is that? Burrow Strike, things from Oracle, a Yule Scepter, Lightning Storm. Like, these are not abilities that you're really afraid of, so not a big fan of Lincoln's here.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see if he does finish the Lincolns. He's got it queued up. Very defensive early on from Ame. You think he's just feeling the pressure early on?
Yeah, I mean, you're not playing against, let's say, a Bat Rider, a Legion Commander, like this initial jump that you need to be afraid of.
Burrow Strike, looking for the roll. Misses as the waveform's out, but they've got the Geomagnetic Grip. They've silenced up Ame. They'll use the Omni Slash. Does it bounce to the neutrals? It does for one. Blade Fury on top of the Morphling. He is surviving all of this so far, but he's got no help just yet. Waveform onto the low ground, and after everything seems to get thrown at Ame, he survives. Sleight of Fist through from nothing to say on a Cat U. Now looking to maybe turn this around. They've got the Snowball from Jinku, and it won't even be needed as Cat U dies. Walrus Punch onto MS, and after the chase onto Ame, this is turning to be quite poor for LBZS. They at least get Jinku. Nothing to say now on the run. Searing Chains hits the Sand King as well as the Leshrac. It'll confirm the escape. It almost looked like that really fell apart, especially if they lost that Jug in the fight right there. LBZS's fight would have fallen real flat.
Only 2 position forwards dying there. They invested so much trying to kill the Morphling. It never happened. He's extremely tanky. Attribute Shift maxed out. And this is going to be such a powerful combo. It usually is a lane together. Sanking in a bit of trouble.
Snowball, Walrus Punch coming through. Stun lands on Ame. Shards wide of the target. Now they'll put the pressure onto the tier 1. They might be able to get the tier 1 mid. Magnetize comes in. That's going to hit onto this Tusk as well as Innocence on the Coddle. Get the kill, and now nothing to say. He's in pretty deep. Fortune Zen locks him up. The stun misses as he remnants away. The roll from Cat U a little bit short, and the Sleight of Fist to avoid the Burrow Strike. They've got the silence on nothing to say as well as Jinku. He's getting low. Uses that Snowball, but only in extending the inevitable of his death. And, well, Zhao Fu gets credit for that one, and Cat U still trying to chase. Fortune Zen throwing on the Earth Spirit, thinking he would get a little bit closer to nothing to say. Unfortunately, can't close the gap. All they get out of that is the Tusk.
I think there was an interaction, something similar that happens with like Tiny Toss with the Tusk Walrus Punch. While inside the arena, there was like an attribute. Well, what actually happened? I'm really curious because how did Lesh ended up outside the arena with just a spear? Like
up in the air from the punch and goes over the arena.
Sure, but I believe there was no punch. Might be wrong. But this is something that that happens, as I said, like tiny Walrus Punch gets you, you know, on that Z-axis, and you just leave. Like
Epicenter.
Oh, big
Onto
surprise!
Ame. They're trying to go onto the Morphling once again. They've got the damage this time. Purifying Flames will finish him off.
And instant tip, man, I love that. Like, your tipping game needs to be on point, and I'd say LBZS is doing a really good job, you know, just holding that high ground, using Epi, surprising him then with the Burrow Strike, and they had enough burst damage to actually bring him down.
Yeah. Playing in a perfect position to catch Ame, who's going up there blind. That is a bit of a risk when you know you did recently just fight in that area as well. Innocence gets caught by Cat U, spots him, magnetized Fortune's End. There's another one for LBZS. Cat U is making things happen all over the map so far for this Radiant side. So yeah, let's take a look. Looked like they were trying to show us the replay real quick. Nothing to say, meanwhile, going for the BKB early went Orbit Corrosion and then BKB. Yeah, both him and Ame playing hyper defensive.
I can understand why. You know, you're playing into Lashrak, who mostly deals magical damage. Edict is physical, so that's gonna hurt still, but you need a defensive way. You're playing into Earth Spirit, into Sanking. Feels like you need to have that frontliner. You need to buy more time for Morphling, because he is your late game security. Man, I really don't think this Lincoln Sphere is paying off. It's a very costly. It's tough to get. Like I already said, that you can't really block too many good spells. So like, just a Morbid Mask to have a sustain would be fine. Possibly Manta style after that. Shotgun also feels good for bursting these heroes. Maybe not the best against the Oracle, because if he's fast enough, then you're kind of wasting a lot of gold if he can block that shotgun.
So they smoke up on LGD. Look towards Irving bot. Now look for the Sand King, who goes down the Sandstorm. They've got the Dust as well as the Snowball. There's the Spear, Walrus Punch. Good smoke from LGD to get that kill. Nothing to say also came over. He's on a killing spree. All this is happening. LGD, they're trying to get some farm for Ame, but look at where MS is. He's got this Battle Fury, and what he's got queued up is the Manta into the Ags. He is ahead of Ame by 1,400 gold.
Juggernaut's farming really nice. Like, he was not being contested. Top lane was going well for him, and yeah, they have not made any aggressive rotations on him, because they still feel it can easily backfire. If they don't lock him down, the Omni Slash could really, really hurt.
Yeah, so
like, if they need to, if they want to get a kill, they need the Mars to stun him with the Spear, follow up with the Tusk. It's very hard to bring him down.
And the Mars is going Yules. Would you want that, or more so the Blink Dagger for a Mars to get on top of him?
I don't think he... Yeah, sure. For this situation, you would want him to have a Blink Dagger, but Yule Scepter just feels like a much safer choice here, where you can remove the silence. You know, also it's a good setup for the Spear if you can time it well, not necessarily on Juggernaut, but on some other heroes.
There's that Yule's finish. Popping the double damage. Slight. Zhao Fu getting chased for a moment by Nothing to Say. They've got Cat Yu as well as Irving ready to go. Ame nearby too. Looking like this could be a clash with Jinkyu up in the top lane. That is the Tusk, who's been kind of disrupting these fights away from it. They've got the arena down, but the Blade Fury in time from MS. He spins out of the arena. Zhao Fu using that false promise on himself. Not looking like it's going to be enough to save him, as Nothing to Say gets yet another, and he's now dominating. So, what is, for LGD, the itemization you think is going to be what works out for them? Is it these Yules? Is it the Lincolns? Like, would you have rather seen them go a couple different items? Is it too defensive right now?
I think how game has developed, they need to get the defensive tools. So, big fan of Ember Spirit getting that BKB first item, so you can go in, try to create a bit of a chaos, not caring about Sanking Earth Spirit. There is still potentially a Snowball save, like Keeper of the Light going for a mech. And also just lowering the cooldown of certain abilities, let's say a Waveform. This is a nasty combination with the Ember Spirit, the Sleight of Fist into Searing Chains. That's really potent.
And then for Ame, who's your morph target? What's going to benefit you the most? Yules, hold on Irving, lands the Spear, Snowball coming in. And they've got Ame here to help out to get that kill. Quick one on the Sand King.
Ame does not have a shotgun build, so he's not going to go in and try to just delete one hero. Depends how the fight is going to start. If Mars gets a good arena, he's going to go in, follow it up. The one good thing about this Lincoln here is he doesn't have to care about the Burrow Strike, which I think is the biggest problem for him right now. Just that instant initiation. Sanking's getting very close to the Blink Dagger, just 100 gold away.
He's not too far away from it. He's quite behind Faith Beyond. I'm surprised. Faithbeyond's really picked up on the farm as Irving's has slowed down quite a bit. So, you know, an extra 1,000 gold to his name on Faithbeyond. He's sitting at 6,700 net worth, only 1,000 behind his own Ember. So we'll see what Faithbeyond's game plan is coming into this. What he's looking for next as that Manta gets finished on MS, who is still top of the net worth and still farming really well. Next up for him is the Axe.
Still 0 deaths on him. Yeah, that Aghanim Scepter, really loving it, especially when there isn't enough like burst damage on the enemy team to just bring you down instantly, and there's also an Oracle. So, like, Oracle just needs to be very careful about his positioning, and you have a good target to go. I think most of the time you want to use that False Promise on Leshrac, because he is actually dealing the most damage in the fight right now.
And he's a lot more killable than, say, the Jug, right? Who
For
can
sure.
Blade Fury and keep himself alive a lot longer. Kaya picked up for the Leshrac of X. They were looking towards Roche for a second until the shards came out from Jinkyu. You've got Boots of Travel ready to go. Yules, Kaya, Leshrac sitting just behind Ame and net worth, ahead of Nothing to Say. And then back into Roche now for LBZS. So they're trying to get this Aegis.
And I think they will. I feel LGD is not going to contest that.
They're grouping up like they want to smoke. That's exactly what they're going to do. 5-man smoke heading over. We'll see if they can get there in time. This isn't exactly the quickest Roche. See how LGD play this. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains. That's going to root up the Leshrac. Use that Essence Ring. The Bro Strike hits out of the Mars. And now they're going to follow this up with the roll coming out from Cat U. Snowball in. Nothing to say. In the Roche pit, they snatch the Aegis. They take it away from the hands of LBZS. They've got the arena down. They get the kill to Faithbeyond as well. Jinkyu, they've lost 2 heroes on the side of LGD. False Promise keeping the Sand King alive. They take out X. Look towards Irving. Now they'll find MS. The Blade Fury is over. The Lincolns gets popped, but the Burrow Strike is there as he's morphed into the Sand King. Manta trying to get away, but the Searing Chains are there. They've got the damage. They'll take out the Jug. 3 heroes gone to the side of LBZS, and they've snatched up that Aegis into the hands of Nothing to Say. A very well fought fight by LGD.
Sand King went for a play like, I'm gonna go and try to buy some time until, you know, my Leshrac and Juggernaut finish off that Roche, but Nothing to Say, very quick, understands how low Roshan is, gets inside, and actually snatches the Aegis, which is pretty big. Like, this is game-changing. Your Morphling didn't die, you got that Aegis, you only lost your position 4 and 5 in that fight, so feels really, really good for LGD right now.
Yeah, and I watched Ame. He turned into the Sand King very early into the fight. When Irving initiated onto the Mars, immediately Ame chose the Sand King. Burrow struck him back, and the False Promise has to get used on Irving. They wanted to keep him in the fight. And then you don't have it for the Leshrac, you don't have it for the Jug, and it ends up being a very successful one for LGD, who now find Cat U. Ame with another one. So MS getting slowed down a little bit, and now sits behind Ame in terms of net worth, who's picked up that Manta.
Yeah, this game kind of reminds me of Vici against LBZS, game number 1, where LBZS was very aggressive and got so much net worth advantage, and after that everything just starts to fall off. It feels like their laning stage is really, really good, and the decision making in the mid game is what's kind of costing them. I mean, I can understand that. You have like 2 TI winning players on one side and guys who are not as experienced as them, so yeah, clear difference in how to come back into the game or how to actually keep that advantage that you have going on.
Yeah, so that inexperience really hurting them. We saw that, like you said, with the first series that they played. You have such a big lead, and yet you don't know how to close it out. You fail to get up the high ground, and it's that barrier of the game that keeps you from winning. Because they were right there. They looked really good in that first game. MS goes to the Blade Fury. See if they can keep up with him. Arena down. That keeps MS locked up. They're going to go with the Remnant, but now the stun on Nothing to Say with the Burrow Strike following it up. Roll in from Cat U. They are keeping him stun locked. They throw the Magnetize. They pop the Aegis, but now they've got Cat U in a bit of trouble to take out the Earth Spirit. They've only got the first life out of the hands of Nothing to Say. Now the Spear hits onto the Leshrac. X will fall too. 2 heroes gone on the side of LBZS right next to the Tier 2 tower. We'll see where LGD go from here. They've got that Sigil from Jinkyu.
Oh, the good old Sigil. I was wondering, why we never got rid of that slot in cosmetics department. That's why, because we wanted to bring the sigil back, and here it is.
Yeah, I've still got my Vici sigil, but I don't get to use it that much. And so that's the build from Tusk so far. Phase Boots, Axe Shard. And he's going for the Blink Dagger next. Blink Burrow Strike coming through, hitting on Innocence. They have the silence on Ame. They're chasing, looking for the kill, but the spear stuns up MS. Innocence staying alive, and he is weaving as that roll comes out from Cat-U, but it's not going to land onto the Coddle. They hit the Walrus Punch on a Cat-U. They get the kill into the Air Spirit. They'll look over at MS, who's Blade Fury already. So with BKB popping, nothing to say. He dives in deep. They've got the spear, but it lands onto an illusion. Omni Slash bouncing around, trying to get the kill on a Faith Beyond. He gets low. The stun hits. Irving takes out Faith Beyond. At least gets one with the epicenter right on top of LGD. Zhao Fu and Irving fall. So does Jinkyu. Blade Fury once again from MS. They've got the Sigil over the fight. They're trying to get the kill into the Jug. They've got him low. The Searing Chain sits onto the Shrek as well as the Jug. They take out MS. They look over at X. Finish him off with the Adaptive Strike. Nothing to say. Unstoppable with that double kill. It's a full team up for the side of LGD with the buyback being used by Irving, who will Burrow Strike back towards the base and escape the hands of LGD.
Whew, man, that was so costly. LBZS tried to kill Keeper of the Light, but LGD keeping him alive. Even if Keeper of the Light dies there, it's still really not worth it. They gave LGD enough time to actually prepare and choose where they want to take a fight. Yeah, you asked about Tusk, like he has only that Sigil, the Shard upgrade, while Keeper of the Light is kind of taking over as a position 4 in this game.
He's got quite a bit of farm.
Cape, and almost a full Force Staff.
He's ahead of the Sand King on the side of LBZS. He's found so much farm. Is that a bit of a surprise that he's found some space to get some farm himself? Hold on, Yule's used on Irving. They have the spear to follow it up. There's the tag team, Walrus Punch, and another kill onto the Sand King. And this seems to be how Irving's had this game go for him.
If Sank keeps playing like this, Tusk will also be ahead of him just by staying AFK, not getting any creeps, because his deaths are very costly. Not surprised by the Keeper of the Light, getting this amount of farm, because new Keeper of the Light doesn't have Blinding Light, has a new spell, Solar Bind, so you want to max out Illuminate, which also means that you will get more farm with it.
They're still trying to roll, but the recall, nothing to say. He's here. They'll dust up Cat-U. Or actually, I believe they dusted up these LGD heroes. They'll still try to go and gets ahead of the rolling boulder, but they have the stun on a nothing to say. Maybe stepping in front of it wasn't the wisest idea. E-Blade thrown over at the Leshrac. They're going after Ame. Turns into the Jug, uses that Blade Fury. The roll comes in from Cat-U once again, but the Remnant forward from nothing to say. He gets hit with the Geomagnetic Grip, and now silence up. But Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains, that hits the Leshrac as well as the Oracle. They get the kill on the Zhao Fu as well as Cat-U with the arena down around the Leshrac, but the Blade Fury from MS allows him to leave. TP, False Promise, Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains. They get the kill onto the Leshrac and take out MS, completing the team wipe just in time as he was trying to TP back home. Turns into a 17,000 net worth lead for LGD, and they call GG. LGD take game 1 over LBZS.
Yeah, I mean, LGD managed to make a good comeback, I would say, where they chose the wise fights to go for. After those 2 deaths at the laning stage, I don't think he died after that, so that's pretty impressive. Like his positioning was really good. He had some really good targets to morph into, like whether he goes morphs into Juggernaut, whether he morphs into Sand King. So with the Juggernaut, you have a healing ward, you have magic immunity. Feels really good, and LBZS, they are definitely looking like a team that looks really good in the laning stage, but needs to work out about how to keep that momentum going, because they were super aggressive. Like you could see them shutting down. LGD was really not prepared for those early rotations.
Yeah, it's not just a sprint, it's a full-on race to the end where you can get that ancient kill and take the game. They start really well, they start fresh, they make that sprint, but then it all kind of falls back. Something in that fight that really just went poorly for them was that Roche fight. It was a little bit slower, and things just were executed perfectly by LGD, so it looked really good from them in game 1, and Ame really recovering quite well, everybody playing around that. The defensive items end up working out. That BKB was really important in that Roche fight. So LGD, they take game 1 over LBZS. We'll throw it back over to the panel to hear their thoughts. Back to you, Nomad and crew. Sending it over.
Well, that was a turnaround and a half. LBZS maybe looking like they were going to prove us wrong until they didn't. What a turnaround from LGD. Of course, you know, never really in doubt. They had the ability to do it the whole time. But one thing I do want to ask, though, that GG came out very early. Black, you're an expert in these things. Was that premature?
I mean, most of the time, if you GG out like this, I mean, from our perspective, like we have like this omnivision, you know, we pretty much know the game is over, and these kind of GGs are just to preserve like your mentality, you know, like because if these games drag another 10-15 minutes, you're just stuck in your base, you're trying to make things happen very desperately. It can really have a toll on your mentality, especially what we saw after the first series when they played against VG. They really stuck until like the very end, and it was some pretty heartbreaking losses, you know. I'm sure they just didn't want to have a repeat of that.
Yeah, it's very difficult when you get stuck like that for another additional 10-15 minutes. It's easier to just call the game, prepare for the next one, because realistically it was all over. They had a couple of diebacks there as well. They didn't have any buybacks overall. They all died. They got wiped. Their Sand King is as low of net worth as the Tusk, if not even lower at that point. So, you know, just take that loss, go into the next game with a fresh mindset, because in this game, I believe they won all 3 lanes at the beginning. They did extremely well there, but they rushed into the mid game, and the decisions that they made and the way they played these team fights wasn't really that crisp, and they didn't adapt to the fact that PSG.LGD itemized completely defensively. Like, you had the BKB on Ember, you had the Linkens on Morphling, you had the Glimmer Mech on Kotl. Once you see those items, you can't just rush into fights anymore, because the counterplay is always there, ready and waiting.
Yeah, I mean, a team like LGD, it doesn't really matter if you beat them in the lanes. You know, if you make any mistakes through the mid game, they're just going to take it all back. And there was never this urgency on the side of LGD. I don't think they ever felt like they were in too much trouble this game. They were very calm. They're very ready to kind of make their reply. And even though they were building some weird, I still don't know what that Linkens or Morphling was for, but it worked, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think LBCS identified correctly what is going on. Because if a team that is already behind itemizes purely defensively, what you need to do as a winning team is to build items to just out-farm them, outscale them, you know. Because if it's Juggernaut, what was his item build? He didn't go into Battle Fury, right?
Yeah, he did go Battle Fury. Battle Fury Mentor.
He did go Battle Fury? Oh, his farm was pretty slow for that then. I mean, but yeah, like, you know, the Lash can think about maybe going into the Travels first just to get more out of the map, because they were so far ahead already, and you can see the itemization on the Ember. You know, he bought that Ogre Axe first. There's only one item really that Ember can go with, that Ogre Axe, and you just need to be more greedy. You know, you need to get more out of the map, because as Lizard said, you can't just run into team fights anymore because they're actually really strong. But that also means that they don't have items to be efficient around the map, so you can just out-farm them, outscale them, you know, accumulate like a 10k net worth lead, and then you start fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Just play it patiently, and that's what LGD. Single kind of item and spell from every single hero was just kind of being used in the most efficient possible way to keep the Kotl out of danger, and then turn the fight around, pop the BKBs, go in, and get the win.
So Kotl is extremely squishy, but that is one of the highest movement speed heroes in the game.
Yeah.
And they were all extremely mobile. You had your Tusk, you had your Ember, you had your Morphling. All these heroes, they go in and out of fights so easily. Plus Mars Arena to cover all that up and just hold them in one place. If you commit on killing that Kotl and you chase just a little bit too far out, you're so out of position. And this Morphlings and Embers, when you give skilled players like Ame and Nothing to Say, these kind of flashy heroes, like, they're gonna make them work. And especially in this kind of a game in which you don't have any catch for them.
Absolutely, and of course, Nothing to Say is our MVP for this first game. Yeah, I mean, we did ask him for an interview, but he said he's got nothing to say, so I guess we'll just go into the next game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard that from him as well. That's his usual answer. He just speaks with his plays.
Speaks with his plays. That's the way to do it. All right, well, going into game number 2 between these two teams, you know, LBZS, they've got a lot of things to think about. I think we're all focusing on the mid game now from them. Are there any heroes they could maybe pick which might make that mid game a little bit earlier, a little bit easier for them?
I mean, for them, it's not really a draft issue or anything. It's really just I don't know if it's just the lack of experience or lack of patience or what it is, but whenever mid-game starts, like they go out of this laning phase really well. They have like 3-4k gold lead against some of the best teams in the world, and
Yeah.
they just
should be
can't make
happy.
it work. Yeah.
Speaking from experience, I'm afraid for them a little bit because I remember being in the same situation. You're in a team that's kind of new to the scene, that has a lot of individual talent, but you don't know how to exactly convert that into gaming, into winning situations, right? Like you can win the laning stage, that's all good, that's nice and dandy. Those rotations from the Earth Spirit everywhere on the map, like rotating 3 heroes mid at minute 4, it's all great, but you need to convert that into strategy.
Yeah. You certainly do. You certainly do. Alrighty, guys. Well, we're going to throw it over to a short break. Then we're going to be back with game number 2 in this series. We'll see you very shortly for more Perfect World action here at the DPC China region. Welcome back to the China DPC by Perfect World. My name is Nomad. Joining me in the studio is Lizard and Black as we get back into this best of 3 match between LGD and LBZS. These two teams battling it up, the underdogs and the big boys, the David and the Goliath. And right now, Goliath, he just kind of gave David a bit of a pounding. Can he come back with his rocks? Seems tricky. The laning phase looked good for LBZS, but in the mid game, unfortunately, it all fell apart. Guys, I know this team, they got a lot to prove right now. I think this is a part where they've got to be kind of trying to learn from their last game. If they could take one lesson from last game, what do you think that should be? If you could just find one little thing for them to focus on and improve in the second game?
Okay, there is one little thing that they have done in this game that they have never done before. LBZS, they took Dire. So this is the first time, I think. Do they have first pick here? I'm not sure.
Maybe LGD took Radiant. Maybe they had no choice.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true as well. But so far, every single game, if they flip the coin or whatever, they always pick. They always get Radiant.
They're good boys, that's why.
Yeah, they just like the light.
They like being the good guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. You know, they've got the sun, don't they? That's a logo. There's that smiling sunshine. How could that play on the Dire?
Radiant still has an advantage of what, 3-4% or something like that in win rates. So it's nicer to play in the light. It's more natural.
But it's not like Marvel though, where you know in the end the villain is gonna lose. It's not like that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
You know,
not always.
Dire wins a lot.
It'd be
if
pretty
they're
pretty
better.
boring if Radiant won every time. I
Yeah.
don't think that would be very good esports.
Imagine like 50k gold behind, but somehow you know already they're gonna come back.
Yeah, that's high level chess, right? Black always goes for a draw, right? You can't really expect to win high level games. So
Interesting.
Black Dire, that's the analogy. In any case, we have a Puck opening up with an Elder Titan for LBZS. I love this opening already. On the other side, Winter Wyvern and Monkey King. Puck, Witchblade, E-Blade,
Very
Dagon,
cool.
Travels. Which is your way, Mr. Black?
I am a travel blink Dagon kind of guy.
I think if you don't mix up your build, then you're not a very good puck player.
Why?
Because I think it's important to utilize the fact that the hero is so flexible and be able to fill the role your team needs you to play.
Fair, but I see most of the puck players, if not all, die at least 2-3 times because they go Witchblade. And they do this, I want to attack you with my phase shift, and I don't have it, and then they die instantly.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just go the conventional, you know, playmaking route, you're much less prone to that mistake.
You know what's actually very interesting in this draft already is LBZS, they picked Puck first pick, literally.
Yeah.
And then they ban out TA in the second banning stage. Meanwhile, PSG.LGD is like, nah, you know, like we've seen this before. It's not necessarily Puck mid. We're gonna ban out Storm too. You know, it's like so basically they're trying to bait them to think that this is Puck mid with a TA ban.
Ah,
Which
I
could
see,
be,
I see.
it still could happen. Like they still could put Puck mid, but it's not set in stone.
Yeah, I see. So, bit of mind games going on here, you think, but LGD aren't having it.
Yeah, I mean, those picks, or those bans, also to protect the Winter Wyvern and the
definitely.
Monkey King.
Yeah.
Like, Bedra is probably the best offlaner against Monkey King in the game.
Yep.
One of the best, at least.
Wow, that is a defensive support duo.
They banned the anti-mage.
It's very defensive.
Yeah, there's another offlaner that's really good versus Monkey King. I had this conversation with Ramses too, Venomancer. It's his favorite to go counter to the Monkey King, and Oracle is a little bit strong against him as well because you can just purge off everything. So maybe that's what they're protecting themselves from too.
You know what's something interesting which we haven't seen, and probably will never see, because the hero is really bad, but the Dazzle Aghanims with the Purge is very interesting against heroes like Venomancer. I don't know, maybe one day we'll see like an offlane Dazzle or something like that, but unfortunately the hero suffers way too much from general weakness, but...
General weakness.
Yeah,
Did he
yeah.
get COVID or what's happening to Dazzle?
Feels like, I mean, for the
Yeah.
whole COVID period, I don't think we've seen like 1 or 2 Dazzles, and they've been absolutely trashed, but...
Yep.
Maybe one day. But the Ags now applies a purge with his Shadow Wave, which can be very interesting, because I don't think we have many AoE purges.
Yeah, you just need Aghanims for that. That's the problem.
Yeah, just 4,200 gold on a Dazzle.
It's not that easy.
Don't
to
worry
farm.
about it.
Unless you go mid with it, like Black is doing with all his supports. I saw some Lion mid feeding last night.
I was 13-0, sir. And then we lost.
Because you had the Lion mid.
I was doing a lot of work.
No, anything can work, that's my opinion.
Exactly.
If you don't play party unranked with Lacoste and Black, anything can work.
Phoenix
Whatever.
being picked up by LBZS, the big Firebird.
Yep.
Come
Now
crashing
gets
into this game.
countered. Yep.
All right.
Attack speed
Now,
aura for
Beastmaster.
everyone.
Hooray.
Yeah, so what does this Beastmaster bring to the table? He brings those pesky Necros, which gives you some pushing potential, but most importantly, the aura versus the Phoenix Egg is very, very nice. Like, you get that extra attack speed. It combos well with the Monkey King, especially if you use those axes on the trees that he's sitting on.
Yep, and some nice thick arms and a nice chiseled chest as well to the draft, which is always important. Is that achievable, Lizard, or is this an unrealistic male body standard, the Beastmaster?
Beastmaster is definitely achievable.
Achievable?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Elder Titan, however.
Yeah, that guy's got
How about Juggernaut? That guy's pretty
Ripped?
ripped.
Yeah, it's possible, right? Low body fat.
Of course it's possible, but it's not easy. Like that
Yeah,
guy
definitely not easy.
does a lot of calisthenics probably.
Yeah.
A lot of cutting.
Probably right now is pushing. He's doing some push-ups, some pull-ups.
Pull-ups, push-ups.
Probably very
dips.
dehydrated. I mean, to get a body like that, you have to like basically starve your body of water for like 3 days beforehand, don't you?
Yep.
It's not good. Not good. But
Look at Troll, man. He's starved all over the place, but he doesn't care. He's still strong. And in this game, he's actually legit versus Monkey King versus Beastmaster in the lane as well. It's not a bad Troll Warlord
Tough
game
versus
at all.
Wyvern though. If you ever
Yeah.
ult and what the target gets cold embrace, your ult is basically worthless.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely for the lane. It is good against Oracle because you can keep purging off that Fate's Edict.
I think the engagement, the starting of the team fight is going to be really important for LBZS, because if this Puck can get on top of the Wyvern, that can free up the Troll Warlord's game a little bit. But if it's the other way around, then there's going to be a Roar, there's going to be a Winter's Curse, there's going to be the Cold Embrace, and this Troll is going to feel very controlled.
They have an extremely decent team fight on the side of LBZS. Like, you have this Puck jumping in with Dream Coil, with Phoenix Egg, with Splitters from Elder Titan. Where I'm worried, though, are the lanes, because this Oracle, why was it picked, even though you have a Winter Wyvern? I believe it is good with Monkey King. It is nice to have a decent save, but it crushes Elder Titan. You don't have damage in the lane because your Astral Spirit gets purged off every single time. So they might have to relegate this ET to the safe lane position 5. But then you have Phoenix plus what on the offlane? Is this Puck mid now? I don't think Puck mid versus Monkey is that great for Puck.
Wow. That's a
means-
Spirit Breaker.
Offlane Phoenix then.
Or
Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, it's possible, but Phoenix is actually a pretty good matchup against Monkey.
That's true.
Okay.
And Spirit Breaker, yeah. I mean, I think the cost played it yesterday. They went like 0-10.
Man, you have to stop making these unranked references where you guys are 0-10 every single time.
Don't think it applies
Stop
here
fueling
somehow.
me. Anyway, so Spirit Breaker, if he's offlane, you could put Monkey mid versus the Puck, right? Like, Monkey will win that lane, and then you can finish it off. But there's also a possibility of even Troll being put mid. We have seen some Trolls mid recently, too.
I actually like this Phoenix offlane, though. They've got a lot of protection for this egg, and the Puck, and the Spirit Breaker, and the Elder Titan. I mean, these 3 heroes can keep these eggs alive, which is often what teamfights come down to when you're playing Phoenix offlane.
Spirit Breaker overall isn't really your position 3. That's picked a lot, so most likely is Phoenix, but in my opinion, Phoenix does as much right now being position 5, 4, or 3. Like, getting those early levels is always nice, but farm, you can get just as much. Just look at GH and Meteor Hammer. Like, you can get just as much done on position 4 as you can do on 3.
It's a tough carry pick.
Yeah.
Like whatever carry you pick, he will be countered in one way or another. Like whether it's Puck that counters you or Spirit Breaker that goes through spell immunity. I do feel like Juggernaut is one of the better ones though.
Yeah, you can't go Morphling because of the ET as well.
TB is also rough because of ET.
Phoenix is strong versus TB as well.
I mean, they could also just pick a
Phoenix.
mid laner.
Alchemist?
Okay, so it's Monkey middle then.
Wow.
Yeah, Monkey mid versus the Puck, most likely that's their plan.
No, it's what? It's Alchemist middle.
All right, nothing to say on the Elk. There we go.
Which
It's
is
gonna be
really
mid.
good against Puck. If Puck is even middle.
So what would you like more? Puck, Alchemist versus Puck, or Monkey versus Puck?
I mean, Monkey is much better against Puck in the lane.
But Alchemist gets more out of
Alchemist still
it,
free farms though.
Yeah.
Because like his new acid spray is -4 armor and Puck is like 0.
Yeah, you
So he can't really stand in acid spray and deny creeps. But who's going? Is XM or MS? No, MS is the carry player.
MS
yeah.
is the troll.
So it's going to be Puck middle, and Alchemist free farms pretty hard against Puck.
Could be problematic. Let's bring in our casters and hear what they have to say about this one. B-Cop and Lacoste, guys. A little bit more sold on this draft from LBZS, or do you think this Alchemist is a bit of a wild card which could swing the game pretty dramatically in LGD's favor?
I think it's doable. As Black said, this one, I trust Black. What I don't trust about Black is his lies about my 0 and 10 performances.
Jesus, guys, come on.
No, he did well, guys. The 0-10 was a lie.
Everyone was very worried about your pub games, Black. Anyway, back to the Dota. But, B-Cop, ground us. What's going to happen in this game, in your opinion?
think that LGD are just going to go and find themselves with a big lead early, play that aggression like they did in the last game, and I don't think there's really a way that LGD gets stopped here. I think they're one of the top teams in this region. And they're showing it really precisely. First game was a bit rough in the early parts. I think LBZS did a really good job with that. But LGD overcame it and showed why they're considered one of the top teams in the region. I think they're just going to walk through again.
Yeah, and I think as well, when we're looking at Alchemist, we got to look at the 4-man lineups. Yeah. And LGD's 4-man lineup looks formidable. So don't even need to ask, Lizard.
Give a stronger team a last pick Alchemist. Stronger team is going to win 9 out of 10 times. Yep.
Like,
I don't trust LBZS anymore.
What? You lost faith in them?
Yes.
What, after 3 games, you're just...
No, the thing is, all 3 games are the same. They always own laning phase, then they don't know what they're doing in the mid or late game. So
alrighty.
I'm going for LG as well.
At least they're trying
new things. How do you still play with Lacoste then?
I'm not going to answer that, Lacoste.
I'll tickle myself, just to laugh a bit.
Jesus, that was terrifying.
0-10.
All right, we're all going for LGD here on the panel. We're going to throw it over to the casters to enjoy game number 2 in this best of 3 match here in the DPC China, powered by Perfect World. Big up on Lacoste. Take it away, big boys.
Thank you very much, Nomad. Yeah, back with another one between LGD and LBZS. It is definitely looking like it could be a struggle for LBZS. I've been impressed with their laning phase like we kind of talked about just now. The question is putting all the pieces together. Can they do that?
Yeah,
and can they overcome this?
How much can they once again get out of the laning stage, and how much of that pressure they can transition into the mid game? But I'll quote one of the best analysts out there that we have: when it's an Alchemist game, it's an Alchemist game. If you don't know who said that, it's Cinderin, and he knows a lot of stuff, Sometimes he has one of those hidden gems, especially about the Alchemist. So they have the attack speed against the egg. They have 2 saving supports, so not enough aggression from LGD early on, I would say. Like, these heroes need levels to make the move. Alchemist, definitely not the hero that goes around and does stuff. Beastmaster needs his level 6. Same goes for 2 supports. So what the LGD wants to do is just make some stacks, farm up, and, play like a 15 to 20 minute game, try to go as a team, while LBZS, they are much better at making stuff happen. You have this Spirit Breaker, you have Phoenix and Puck. These heroes want to be aggressive early on.
Ame doing some damage here to Irving, had that Jingu pop. His attack speed a little bit slower, but Irving's here. He got Fire Spirits level 1, and now he has nothing to give back. The charge is coming out. The damage proccing the Jingu. Needs one more shot. Is the charge going to be in time? No. First blood for Ame, and then the charge comes in. Just a little bit late. And, LGD take first blood. Speaking about the supports of LGD, we used to see Orchids early on the 4-position Winter Wyvern. Is it still something that we'll see here? Go for that Orchid, maybe like Orchid or Blink Dagger or something, find a position and get a Winter's
Possibly,
Curse
depending
out there.
how much farm he can get on Winter Wyvern. Witchblade is extremely strong. Combine that with 50 damage on level 10. Winter Wyvern as a hero that, plays from position 4 can really scale, and he can pretty much solo kill any hero.
So we'll see how much farm Jinq ends up getting. Fortune's End from Innocence. And MS trying to put some pressure on. Faith Beyond, I said it in the last game, usually a player who secures his lane no matter the matchup. And it's something that we've said about a couple of the SEA teams, but it finds itself being, if Faith Beyond has a bad game, it feels like LGD as a whole are having a bad game.
Especially in this one, because he needs to be like the playmaking position 3 here, and I think Ame needs to be more active than usual, because Alchemist is your late game security. I want to see what kind of build he decides to go for. Like, double Bracer is pretty standard, and I want to see whether it's a Radiance or Battle Fury game. Usually, at least in Europe, it is a Battle Fury game. We rarely see Radiance.
Well, we talked about Ame's build on Monkey King. So if he's going Battle Fury, is it going to just be...
No, you can't afford to get Battle
Yeah.
Fury here. Like, you need to be more active, get either like a Maelstrom, keep joining the fights, or get Aghanim Scepter straight away, which is also a bit of a greedy build considering you have Alchemist in your team, but it might work.
Okay. So we'll see how the builds go, how they
Exactly.
split
I
the
mean,
farm. And
depending how much can he get out of the lane.
right, so 12-1 for the Alki. First dive away from Irving, who had given up that first blood. Arctic Burn as Jinkyu is down here with Ame. Katyu taking some damage. What does this lane do up against the Monkey King? It's a 3-position Phoenix and a 4 Spirit Breaker.
Good question,
But
B-Cup,
Monkey King's just getting everything for
I don't
free.
think I have the right answer besides I have no clue. Like, I don't think you can kill the Monkey King, especially with the Wyvern. They have much more kill potential because Wyvern is down here with the Monkey. And on the top lane, Y on Oracle, yeah, he can purge off the Spirit from Elder Titan. So you're really not going to see the full potential of the ET in the laning stage. Mid lane going really well for Alchemist as expected. Like, Puck is a hero that almost doesn't have any armor. I think his starting armor is 0 or 1. So sitting in Acid Spray, it really, really hurts him.
Yeah, so already it seems like all 3 lanes from LGD are going quite well. The only one that's a little bit of a question mark is Faith Beyond, but he's only 12-2. He's having an okay time. This is something we talked about where LBZS, what we had pulled from their games so far has been their laning stage. But we haven't really seen a game where it's kind of fallen flat on the laning stage just yet. So I'm interested to see if that were to occur, how they'd transition and how they're able to kind of change it up from there if they're not having what they want in the early parts of this.
I can only think it's going to be worse because it's much easier to play Dota when you are ahead. Like, judging from their games, they were pretty much winning, and all the laning stage ones, MS might be in a bit of trouble top.
Yeah, just going after this one. Innocence wants to try and get the kill here on MS. Whoa. Almost taking
He wants
out the
too
courier.
much. Wants the courier and the troll, maybe get some hits on the tower.
Gonna make up his mind. Holding on to a double damage. Oracle kind of hurts. I think any hero with a double damage pretty much exclusively hurts. Maybe not techies with the right click. So far, 27-15 for Ame. 29 about to be 30 CS for this Alchemist. All things running
They even
LGD's
get,
way at the moment.
1, 2, 3
Three,
bounty. They
yeah.
almost get 4 bounty runes with the Alchemist in the team.
Ooh. Interesting attempt from Jinkyu to get that Splinter Blast off. The chase is on for Irving under the tier 2 tower. Ame coming for the safe lane. Now they've got the Dream Coil. The aggression might hurt them. Sweep on to 2. They've made the rotation. They've got more here. They get the kill on Ame. They look over at Jinkyu. LGD overplaying their hand. Irving with one and X with the other. That is a massive dive from those heroes
I did
this
not
early on.
know Ame is listening to our stream. I said he needs to be more active, but I didn't mean for him to jump the tier 2 tower with Monkey King 5 minutes in.
And that is not normally a spot you see a safe laner this early in the game. That's for sure. He's got that Orb of Corrosion. Maybe got a little bit too over his head with that one. Power Rune spawns up top. It's an Arcane Rune picked up by Innocence. Fully charged that Fortune's End. Throw it over at the Spirit Breaker. The Waning Rift coming through from X onto Nothing to Say. Not really stopping this Alchemist just yet, and he does have that Battle Fury queued up for the moment.
Battle Fury just feels like a much better choice. Like, you buy these items that are not as costly as Sacred Relic, and it increases your farm still. Nothing to Say, doing really, really good. That's why they picked it. They thought it's going to be Puck on the mid lane. It is, and he doesn't really feel pressured. Phoenix wants to get that Spirit Vessel, of course, against the Alchemist, against the Oracle, Winter Wyvern, Monkey King. Like, there's so many
Dream Coil
heals
bottom.
that he can reduce.
They're looking for Ame. They've got the charge coming in from Katyu, and, well, Boundless Strike in from Ame. And now Innocence here to help. They've used that Dream Coil that bring 3 heroes over bottom, but it's not going to garner them any results. LGD get away with that one, and they're sitting 1,000 ahead. But again, this is an Alchemist lineup. So Ame surviving that, and we thought of him as being pretty much unkillable in the lane. I think the only reason he dies is because he's by that tier 2 tower at 5 minutes into the game.
Or because they bring 3 or 4 heroes. I think this kind of pressure benefits LGD so much. They're not fighting any kills. Alchemist is free farming in the jungle, is gonna have that really nice timing on the Battle Fury. They're not. There's 1-2 stacks in his triangle, so he's gonna farm that. 3 points in Grieval's Greed is more than enough to get you. So, like, this is the time when Alchemist is really vulnerable, where you want to go and try to make some pressure on him. But you need Coil, you need Spirit Breaker Charge, and you also need to bring 1 extra hero. But to go back to the Spirit Vessel talk, it's a really, really good item here, because they have tons of heal and the lifesteal. But they also have 2 ways of purging it off. One is Oracle ulti, the second one is Fortune's End, and Alchemist also has one with the Chemical Rage. It's a soft dispel.
Charge over to Ame once again. Goes into the Mischief. MS comes over. Boundless Strike thrown to the Troll. He'll try to
Bash.
TP out. Oh. Not fortunate enough to get the bash. In my games, it's 100%. In this game, I guess it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Perma bash in my games.
It's what causes me to go the pub 0-10. So now they put some pressure on the tier 1 tower bottom. They'll try to take this tower, make it a little bit more difficult for Ame to find space to farm. Right now, nothing to say about to hit that 6K on the net worth. Getting really close to this Battle Fury, and Faith Beyond has seemingly been left in this top lane to just do whatever he wants. He's got the Necro 1, he's got the Necro 3 queued up. No boots, just farm, get those Necro books, or that Necro book upgraded, and take a tier 1 of your own. Yeah, really well done. But a good job from LBZS. Recognize the pressure, take a tier 1 of their own, and you know, working around the map to try and get what they can. Charge comes out. They've got X moving in on Innocent, so try to survive. The sweep lands onto the Oracle. They'll take out Innocence. Primal Roar was used onto Cat U, but they don't have any follow-up to this. So after that's over, he'll just TP away. Primal Roar pretty much wasted.
I talked about how they don't have heroes to actually play Dota with for the first 10 minutes. The one kill they have is the one before the Horn, so yeah, kind of hard for LGD to play, but you know, that's not the game plan. To be active for the first 10 minutes, they just want to keep farming. You have Alchemist, you have Beastmaster. These heroes really, really scale. I still don't see an item queued up on Monkey. There's the Coil. Once again, same spot for Ame.
That spot is not a livable one right now for Ame. Jinkyu's got boots, Windlace, 700 gold. He's got quite a bit of farm, keeping up with Cat U on the Spirit Breaker. But you see the Monkey King now behind Faith Beyond. This game starting to feel like it's more on Nothing to Say more than Ame for sure. But that's the nature of an Alchemist lineup.
He has nothing to say. He lets his gameplay do the talk. It's a 10-minute Battle Fury on top of Power Treads and Double Bracer. Like, these are some sick timings on Alchemist.
Already with the Ogre Axe. Going into the Sanjin Yasha next. Like, he's got so much gold. Obviously, that's a statement you say quite often with an Alch, but he's really doing a good job. Like, this feels like one of the better timings we've seen on an Alchemist. Winter's Curse during the Icarus dive. Charge up the Fortunes, and they've got the Jingu proccing Sunray, but not going to matter. Ame with another kill onto the Phoenix. So both kills for Ame, both kills on the Phoenix. Everybody else so far on LBZS has survived the game up to this point. X, who we thought might struggle against that Alchemist, has put himself in a decent position overall with his net worth.
Yeah, he's doing okay. I mean, it's still Alchemist. You can't really keep up with his amount of farm, but the Witchblade is very close.
So looking like Aether Lens for the Winter Wyvern. You've got the Sanj finished off for Alk. So Nothing to Say closing in on the SNY. 737 gold per minute right now for Nothing to Say up to this point. And then MS, he's building a Sanjin Yasha as well, going into the Ags afterwards. Ags, for the most part, pretty standard item for the troll.
Yeah, these days a lot of good things to dispel from yourself, like the disarm, and you can dispel Monkey King. All right,
Dream
aggressive
Coil
move.
again on a 2. The look for the sweep. The Earth Splitter coming through. Jinkyu surviving, puts himself in the cold embrace. They false promise himself on Innocence. Primal Roar now hitting the puck. Do they have the rotation for this? Do they have the damage? The illusory orb. X on the run. One shot from dead. The tower, is it enough? Yes, it is. They also killed off Cat Yu. They lose Zhao Fu, and 3 heroes gone on the side of LBZS. Irving and MS about face and try to run, but the Primal Spring comes through from Ame with Balanced Strike. MS, he'll fight into this. Wukong's going for this Supernova, trying to crack the egg. Will do so, so it's 4 heroes dead. MS committing to this one, looking for Faith Beyond, but they've got the Jingu Pak, the Wukong still going, and a full team wipe for the side of LGD.
This is rough. Even without them getting those extra kills on side of LGD, it's still a huge win because Alchemist is just farming. Like your Monkey King is also getting back into the game. Winter's Curse.
Now locking up this Elder Titan once again. Zhao Fu killed off by the Balance Strike from Ame, who's sitting near the stairs. The pressure will come. They'll go for the Tier 1 tower mid. LBZS already sitting 8,000 net worth behind just 13.5 minutes into the game.
This is exactly what LGD wanted them to do, because LBZS, they feel like they need to make an aggressive move, and LGD will take that anytime, because they have 2 saving supports. They don't have supports that are able to go out on the map and rotate, make aggressive moves, so they are fine with that. Also, the next time they lose 1 or 2 heroes, LGD can easily just transition that into Roche. They have more than enough damage. Inner Beast maxed out, plus a book, Alchemist minus armor coming out from the Acid Spray, and suddenly it's 8k gold lead.
And we saw just a glimpse of what they're doing with the Hawks as well. It's getting vision for Ame. He goes in with a Balanced Strike onto that puck. Doesn't get the kill, but it is the vision game for LGD that's helping them kind of make these maneuvers.
And I like the itemization from Ame in this game, where he just wants to get like another defensive tool for himself. Because he is playing aggressive, he wants to jump around, even though they have 2 defensive supports. BKB still feels like a very good item here, because Alchemist is the carry here, and you are looking for a timing. So BKB will be done in the next 2 minutes. A lot of farm on the bottom lane for nothing to say.
Yeah, so far so good. More than doubling the net worth of the second hero on that list of Ame. So Monkey King's recovered pretty well, and he's going into a BKB of his own. Blade Mail being built now by the Spirit Breaker, who had Shadow Blade queued up for a majority of it, but now changes his mind. Charge all the way through onto the Winter Wyvern, but here come the TPs. There's the ult. They take out Jinkyu very quick.
If needed. Like if they decide to go in, maybe find another target, but their run from LGD is already split, so no need for that buyback. You know, just for comparison, Alchemist has the same amount of gold as Puck, Phoenix, and Spirit Breaker combined.
Wow, that is a lot of gold. What's he sitting at right now with his GPM? Take a look at his gold per minute, now sitting upwards of 920. So he said it was 737 a moment ago. Now it feels like it's just that much more. Almost in that 1,000 mark. Zhao Fu, Purifying Flames. The best feeling when you're an Oracle is getting that kill with the Purifying Flames. They'll use that Primal Roar. Ame goes in and gets the kill on X. Another 2 there for LGD. Mega kill streak for Ame.
I think it's Roche time. They have more than enough damage. As I said, get 1 or 2 kills straight into Roche pit. LBZS, they have a good vision, so they know something's happening. 2 good wards around the Roche pit, plus a Hawk, but I'm not sure if they can contest that. Phoenix has 2 Spirit Vessel charges. Roshan going down very quickly. Yeah, I don't think they can contest this. Like, it feels like you can, but you're not going to be there in time.
Winter's Curse was used as they try to charge in. That hits the troll as well as the Spirit Breaker. Cat Yu in trouble. He'll be the first one to fall. He buys back
So this is looking like an all-or-nothing play from LBZS. They've got the Wukong's command as well as the Icarus Dive coming up from the Phoenix. They look over at Zhao Fu. They'll try to chase onto the Elder Titan as they look and focus on MS as well. Sunray to try and keep him alive as well as the Supernova. They'll use that Battle Trance. This is looking good for the Supernova to end up popping, but it's just not in time. Irving, he ends up dying. Now MS with no longer having that Battle Trance needs to run. However, looking to reinitiate as the stomp was really well placed from that Elder Titan. They get the kill on Innocence. They look over at Faith Beyond. Nothing to say. Getting juggled with those bashes coming out from Cat-Yu, who will charge over on Ame, but they get the kill on X. They look over at MS once again, but they've got the Jingo stacks procced. Ame backs off. MS looking towards the north part of this fight as they lose Zhao Fu, and that's a third gone. Well, really a fourth with the Spirit Breaker buying back.
Everything's just working out for LGD. Like, ET made probably the best play so far for LBZS team. It was a 4-man stomp into the Earth Splitter, but still not enough damage. And Aegis was not taken off from the Alchemist. He is going into AC next. So looking good, really, really rough for LBZS. 17k gold lead, 18 minutes in. You know what I always say, when you have the same amount of gold, 1k gold per minute, then the game just officially ends. So they're very close to that.
And they've chased so long for Ame. And they just don't find him. He pops the BKB, hit a 3-man balanced strike as the chase was on. Cat-Yu gets spotted. Gotta remember, he's not gonna have a second left to buy back with. They've got the Primal Roar coming through into the Phoenix. They look over at Cat-Yu as well. They get the kill on Irving. They'll also find Cat-Yu. 2 heroes dead with the Cold Embrace. That will save Faith Beyond. And there's the Winter's Curse. It locks up X as well as Zhao Fu. Down goes Zhao Fu. MS chasing Faith Beyond. The illusory orb to try and run, but it's leaving your troll all alone. And
No
MS,
mana for that ulti. It's not like it would make any difference,
Yeah.
but yeah, 20k gold lead, 19 minutes in. You know, it's the second game, so if they lose, the series just ends. But not sure if they have enough tools to fight back LGD. Phoenix is only level 10. Level 1 Supernova dies. Like, position 5s can actually focus it, and it dies. And there's the Hand of Midas queued up by Phoenix, which says, you know, it's kind of a griefing item, I would say. Especially if you queued up 20 minutes in.
trying to maybe have thoughts like, yeah, we can take this late. We'll have some farm if we do end up being successful in that endeavor. Nothing to say up front and right in the face of MS, who tries to TP in and get the kill onto this Alchemist. Charge far and deep from Cat-Yu. They'll take out Jinkyu. He didn't have the Winter's Curse anyway, but he does have buyback with the BKB being popped by Ame. They'll look over at Cat-Yu. They'll throw the Dream Coil down into Faith Beyond. So he's out of this fight for the moment. They hit the sweep out of the Oracle.
There's the buyback.
There's the Icarus Dive as well as the Supernova being used, but the stun is out onto MS. The Supernova is just a little bit too far behind. They'll stack on top of it, making sure that they can protect it. However, now that they've used these big spells, they've used the Dream Coil, the Supernova down, this may not look that great for LBZS, and there's the Winter's Curse. They've got the Sunray right on top of Ame, but with the Jingu stacked as well as the Wukong's command, they get the kill on the Irving. They look over at the rest. X is trying to run. He'll phase shift, but I don't know if that's going to keep him alive for that much longer. MS goes down, so does Zhao Fu. They'll find themselves the puck. They'll take him down. 4 heroes dead on the side of LBZS. The buyback coming out from Irving, and now a 22,000 net worth lead for LGD.
LBZS uses 2 big teamfight ultis, ET and Supernova. That doesn't hit anything, so LGD is like, yeah, we should probably go in, you know, try to end this game possibly. There's still 50 seconds left on Aegis. 1 buyback expended for Winter Wyvern, and I like how they're cycling their abilities. First, Wyvern uses a Cold Embrace. He's also putting more points in it because he's playing into Troll, which I really like, instead of just maxing the Arctic Burn. And then Oracle ulti comes on top of that. Ame respawns with the full HP after Oracle ulti. While I'm talking some nonsense, Rax is gone.
Yeah, the Rax is just disintegrate. There's nothing left there in the mid lane for LBZS. 23,000 net worth for nothing to say on this Alchemist. He is so far ahead. And definitely over that 1,000 GPM. Primal Roar used on Zhao Fu. They'll proc the Jingu. They've got the damage. They'll get the kill. It's Faith Beyond who gets credit for that one. And now their focus is on the top lane. You've got nothing to say here. Well, really, the entire team here. Just to make sure they can take these objectives.
Aegis reclaimed, so I don't think that's going to stop them. There's still 2 BKBs available. It's just the chip damage that Thrall does at this point.
It doesn't really feel like much of a deterrent anymore. Look at the tier 3 tower in the top lane. All 5 heroes ready to go inside of LBZS. They have everything to throw in the kitchen sink this time, but whether or not that house is big enough to do the damage. 3-man Boundless Strike coming in from Ame. That really just stops them in their tracks for a split second. They've got the Dream Core that hits on a Jin Q as well. There's nothing to say. They've also got the sweep. Well placed, but that Supernova feels so late
it's
on
so
that
far
Icarus
away.
dive. It's so far from the fight. They get the kill on the Cat U. They also have the Witcher's Curse, though. Call it GG. MS ends up dying. Jiaofu looking like he's going to be next. It really doesn't matter up to this point. The Gs have been called, and the game goes there for LGD as well as the series. A 2-0 victory for LGD over LBZS in their debut here in the upper division for the Chinese region. Really well done by LGD and really making a name statement there for them as that is the first series and they come out of the gates really looking good.
Yeah, for sure. LBZS definitely needs to work out on their, what happens after the laning stage, like how we're going to approach the mid game. And I think they got surprised by this Alchemist pick. It looked like a really, really good Alchemist game, not contested at all. They were trying to focus Ame instead. LGD is like, yeah, man, sure, why not? We'll take that trade. You know, our Alchemist is free farming 10-minute Battle Fury, Double Bracer, Power Treads. More than enough.
Yeah, very much more than enough. Ame died a couple times going past that tier 1 tower, but at the same time, it's enough space for Nothing to Say to have over 1,000 GPM. Looked really good, and LGD, they take the series 2-0. So now it's time to get the breakdown from our analysts. We'll throw it back over to the panel. Back to you, Nomad.
Thank you very much, Beakup and Lacoste. Wow, I mean, I didn't realize that LGD had Jeff Bezos playing as their mid lane of this game. That was some serious money on the Alchemist. I mean, what is there to say about this game, guys? Anything you noticed which wasn't blatantly obvious?
There were just too many problems for LBZS. Like, too many problems for a team that's already an underdog to solve. You have this Beastmaster problem, you have this last pick Alchemist problem. Sometimes it just happens. It just happens. You get blindsided by this last pick. Either the Alchemist, the Meepo, the Arc Warden, the Broodmother. There's nothing you can do about it. In this game, I really don't see how they could have done better. Maybe these team fights around the Dream Coil plus the Egg could have come sooner, but they just couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop the Alchemist at all.
Nope. I mean, it's an Alchemist of 10th pick. What are you gonna do about it? Black, is there anything for this team to learn from this game?
I mean, not from this game, no, but they can go back to the first game again, where they pretty much face the same problems they did as when they played against VG. And it's the biggest problem they have to solve, and it's also, unfortunately, the hardest problem to solve in Dota, which is, what do you do outside of laning phase? Because laning phase, you know, it all comes down to personal skill, individual skill, but post laning phase, it's all about the team play, all about the positioning, what part of the map do you play, at what point in time, and it's just super difficult to figure out, you know, like all the top teams have very experienced coaches that help them with that. I don't know if LBZS even has a coach or an organization backing them. They're just 5 players, right?
I'm fairly sure they just play at 5 players. Yeah, there's no
so
information about them having a coach anywhere.
Like, it's so hard against these like very well-funded teams, you know, because they put a lot of money behind their team, and yeah, it's just tough. It's always an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's tough to make it with talent alone, and these guys have an abundance of talent. That's why they're here. But yeah, PSG.LGD, they have the same. Plus, they have an organization that backs them up so well. Plus, they have the experience. Plus, they have a better draft, let's be honest, because this Alchemist was perfect. Even without him, they had some other options. Plus, Beastmaster has a 13-minute level 3 Necro book without boots. He is just running you down on his own. So, I also have to say that it's much easier to play an aggressive draft, a draft like in that first game that just goes on the map and hunts.
Yeah.
Than this one that's all about strategy and about positioning and taking the fights that will allow you to execute this super wombo combo Elder Titan Puck Phoenix, especially when you're playing versus a stronger team.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there needs to be some improvements made, especially Kachu. He's a very individually skilled player, but he's also the most experienced player on the team. So possibly Irving's had a lot of experience as well, playing in a bunch of different teams. But I want to see Kachu kind of taking more of a lead, because we see him in the laning phase dominating. And he knows how to make the plays, and he knows how to make pressure. I would like to see him maybe taking control, or maybe it is down to the other support to come through. Is it Jinky, the 5 position on that team, to come through
Secure
and
LGD.
Xiaofu. Xiaofu, that's it. I mean, maybe he needs to come through, but somebody just needs to start taking a leadership role in that team post laning phase, because it doesn't seem like they have that.
It's hard to, like, this second game, man, I don't know what to tell you, because it's very difficult for any team to play versus an Alchemist that has more net worth than 3 of your heroes. If you didn't
combined,
if you didn't find a way to contain him post laning stage when he starts farming and ramping up, or at least in the laning stage, then it's very difficult to call proper moves. Your offlane, that's a Phoenix, is also slightly countered by him because of that mega attack speed that he brings, and every single leg he just goes and wails on it. So you can't really even call these moves and call these team fights in the mid game.
Yeah, certainly in this game
this
too.
second game was really rough. First game, we can talk about that. We can talk about what went wrong. Maybe the course should even take some more reins in their hands, because position 4 obviously is calling all the moves early on and just rushing across the map, which sometimes does, not really work out well when the enemy has all the defensive items possible.
Do we have time for a small story, like a minute?
Let's just do the MVP, and then I'll let you get to your special little story, Black. Let's have a look at our MVP, and it's going to be Arme, going to be the MVP for this one. Special shout-out, of course, to our guy, Nothing to Say, but Arme, it's always the guy making the space, isn't it? It's always the dude, yeeting into tier 2s 5 minutes into the game, that's just making the space for the Alchemist to be that hero, so Arme gets the MVP.
Is this Daddy Black story time? Are you going to tuck your shirt in for the
gather around, children.
Gather around.
It's
warm milk and cookies.
It's a relatable story. That's why I wanted to tell.
Ooh, the best kind. Take it away, sir.
Okay, so I was captaining at TI5. Shortly before, I was joining a stack of 4 very inexperienced top 10 leaderboard players in China. And I managed to captain them to TI, right? Like through the qualifier, everything. And we were what I would consider like a tier 1.5 team, But when we went up against the best Chinese teams, it was like day and night. We had no chance. But when we went up against those tier 2 teams, we crushed them. Like the difference is so monumental.
So steep, yeah.
Like as you can see here, LBZS is not a bad team at all.
Yep.
Like I would consider them probably like at the same, like tier 1.5. But against these top dogs, it's just, especially in China, because as we said, they fund them so well. It's so incredibly hard to make it work.
It's the fundamentals over there, right? Like in Europe, you have a couple of captains that really know their stuff, but there the fundamentals are so spread out and so obvious for everyone to see that it's difficult to play against tier 1.
The end.
Thank
you, Back. Alrighty, well, let's have a look at how the standings are looking after today's match. And of course, in the upper division, absolutely no surprise to see eHome, PSG.LGD, and Vici Gaming all taking the wins. Meanwhile, Magma with a loss, and LBZS, unfortunately, the underdogs, now with 2 losses to their names. But to be fair to them, they started with 2 of their hardest matches. So hopefully, it gives them a great foundation to start to learn from. And I think they're going to be aiming to get middle of the group here. I think they really want to keep their position in this Division 1, especially when you've got the likes of CDEC and RNG and SAG snapping at their heels. Talking of which, over in the lower division, CDEC with 2-0, SAG, Sparkling Arrow Gaming, they're at 1-0, Phoenix Gaming with 1-0 as well. Meanwhile, Dalanjing are down with a loss. Extreme, Dragon, and RNG all with a loss under their belts as well, with Dynasty yet to play a game over in Division 2 and in Division 1. Elephant, Team Asta, and Invictus Gaming all yet to play some games. But don't worry, because they'll be coming up later. Not today, of course. We're all done with today. That was the last match that we had on. Just a singular, quick series of the day. A nice quick one in the morning to get things over with. LGD really making themselves look very, very good versus this team. Hopefully, we'll see LBZS come back. And I'm really excited to see this team versus some of the other teams which were qualified to the tournament. These guys versus Magma is always a very fun matchup. Who do you think kind of comes out after having seen the both of them play and lost all of their matches so far?
It's difficult to say, really. Like, let's see them just clash heads, and let's see which one comes out. I can't really say, because PSG.LGD is so difficult to play against. Like, they're a stacked team, and when you lose to them in the second game and the first one, you shouldn't really feel that bad about yourself. The second one was an Alchemist game. It was a 10th pick Alchemist as well. The first one you did well in the laning stage, and if you adjust your playstyle after the laning stage, I think LBZS could come on top.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried for them though, because like, you know, if you have two of those pretty like one-sided losses in two series,
it can tilted.
Yeah, it can cause a lot of mental problems, especially because we said they don't have a coach, they don't have anyone to back them up like mentally and tell them, you know, it's okay, like these are tough matches, you know, you can do better in the next one. And it can just be very difficult to overcome.
I was going to say, like, what they need is Daddy Black, don't they?
I can tell them that for sure.
Black.
It's just I don't really have any, you know, good contact in that team, because they're pretty new to the scene, I feel. Like, only Kedju I know. The other four seem very, very new.
I know Irving from EU, well, but that's definitely not that.
That's a different one, yeah. I know that one as well.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today. But of course, we have another set of games on Sunday as well. So let's have a look at that schedule and see what we've got coming up. Of course, it is an exciting one. It is Elephant versus IG, and then PSG.LGD versus Team Asta. Wow, what a stacked day. IG, unfortunately, haven't been looking so hot recently. I think Elephant most certainly the favorites in that matchup. But LGD versus Team Asta, that could be a little bit closer. Again, LGD the favorites, but I think Asta stand a pretty good chance of taking a game off them and possibly the series, the full match as well. So some exciting games. Make sure you tune in there on the 24th of January to join in with those games. There's going to be some awesome ones. But here from Perfect World for the DPC China region, that is going to be it. Guys, any closing thoughts on today's action?
Quick 2-0. I'm just looking forward to those real series when teams are matched up more evenly and when we can see some true Dota coming into play, because we have seen some meta picks, but we haven't seen them really match up together in an equal skill base.
Well done, LGD and LBZS. Don't feel too bad, I guess.
Yep. Have some cuddles.
It's pretty heartbreaking to lose your last game like this, but you know, it's Dota.
That's Dota. Absolutely right. That is Dota indeed. To be the best, you've got to take some L's, and unfortunately some L's were gained by LBZS today, but they'll come back stronger, I'm sure. Make sure you guys keep watching the league as we can see these teams develop, see the storylines come out, but from us today, it's going to be goodbye. Thanks a ton for watching, and we'll see you on Sunday for more DPC China action by Perfect World. But today, it's goodbye.